Yo, what up? What it mean? Generational curse breakers, my fellow fucking peoples out there, man. Oh shit, yeah. Let me tell y'all, man. If you don't know you're a generational curse breaker, yo, you're about to fucking find out, man. Some of y'all out there, yo, really came from a really fucked up home. Regardless if your parents were there, or one of them wasn't there, or both of them was there. Because even if both of your parents are still there, they could still have certain ways of living in their eyes that they feel that they're doing right, and they pass that shit along to you. And then when you get older, you find out that this shit is not for you. This shit is not working. You some of y'all may end up going through a lot of heartbreaks, man. And somewhere along those lines, you end up doing some things you had no fucking business doing. You end up saying some things you had no business doing. Saying, should I say. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all also could have been, in a relationship or marriage that was abusive, be it mentally, or physically, possibly both, you know, and the reason why is because of the fact that, you know, you don't know what a healthy relationship is because you didn't grow up seeing it. So how the hell would you know? You know what I'm saying? Your parents didn't teach you anything about, healing within yourself, you know, empathizing with people. None of it. You know what I'm saying? And then one day you probably had a good cry, and you probably said, "Yo, I had enough of this shit, man." You found yourself probably spending more and more time by yourself. Because along those lines of you becoming an adult, you can't really trust, people like that, especially your parents. Some of y'all may have even tried to talk to your parents like, "Hey, you know, this is what's been going on with me, and this is what happened, from my childhood." And your parents just didn't want to fucking hear it. And eventually, some of y'all cut them the fuck off. Rightfully so. Because the inner child within us, man, I would think that we all want to be loved by, our parents. But unfortunately, that's not the case, for some of y'all out there, and y'all cut them, and you cut your parents off. It could be your parents, your guardians. You could even cut, some of your friends off, if not all of them. And keep in mind, you may have been, friends and cool with some of your peoples since y'all was in fucking elementary school. And then, 20 years you know them, and then all that shit is gone down the fucking drain. The very few people that you thought you could trust, you can't trust no more. 10-10. as I'm doing this video right now. As soon as I look down at the time, yo. So now that you're on this journey of going through all the shit that you've gone through, you know, you now establish, boundaries within yourself and you stand on that shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's very fucking simple. Just be a good, genuine fucking person. If you cannot do that, stay the fuck away from me. Because you're not gonna like what the fuck is gonna happen to you if you fuck with me. You know what I mean? Because you've been through too much into excuse me. You've been through too much shit in your life to go through that shit again. You feel me? Some of y'all possibly even had kids along this line, and now you find yourself being a single parent. So now you grew up, in a survival mode from your childhood. Then now you have kids now. You know what I'm saying? So now you're not only thinking of yourself, you're thinking of your kids. Because I'm pretty sure deep down, I know y'all do not want to pass any kind of fucking trauma that you went through from your childhood to your kids. And it's not even just your kids, but just anybody. Because you know what the hell that pain is like. And it's not good. That shit will affect your entire life in every fucking way, shape, or form. But you're here. And the generational curse breakers, which is something, y'all out there, man. Like I said from before, you had to cut off, certain family members. Because they wasn't on the vibration that you on. They wasn't thinking how you were thinking. They wasn't moving like you were moving. You know what I'm saying? And you may have, may have taken it, personal, at first, rightfully so. But later on, you understood that your journey, man, is not the same as those other individuals. Ever heard the saying, what's the fucking saying? You meet people for a reason. You could learn multiple lessons from meeting certain individuals. It could, you know what I mean? It's up to you to figure it out. Why, what that lesson or lessons is. You get where I'm coming from, yo. Some of y'all are even, you know, empathic lone wolves. You find more peace being by yourself than anything. And you are very sensitive to your surroundings. And you don't give a flying fuck what the hell society has to say. You know what I'm saying? Because now that you recognize that you are the generational curse breaker, you don't want nothing to do with that society that's going on right now, yo. Mm-mm. You know what I mean? You are here, to build another world. You know what I'm saying? To remind people that there are still genuine good people out here. There's still people. There are still people out here that still know how to be soft, even though they went through the roughest shit in their fucking life. You're still here, and you shouldn't take that shit lightly. You shouldn't take that shit lightly at all, cause that shit is not easy. You know what I'm saying? You got people out here that been on this fucking journey, yo. 20, 30 fucking years, man. You know what I'm saying? It's this shit is not for the fucking weak, dog. You know what I mean? And also being that you're a generational, curse breaker, and some of y'all are also empathic lone wolves. You may also find yourself that more and more people find comfort in telling you their most deepest fucking fears. And at one point in time, you may even ask yourself, like, yo, why is it that everybody finds so much comfort telling me their most deepest shit that they are going through? They don't even tell their own wives, their husbands, family, nothing. But for some reason, they are telling you. They tell you because of the light that you have within yourself. You know what I mean? I think one of the greatest gifts in life is the gift of giving. To pass on everything that you learned in your life and pass it on to the next. I really and truly think that's one of the greatest gifts, yo. Because what you are doing when you do that shit, yo, you may think you just passing on that knowledge to, the other person or individuals. No, it's not just that. You're changing their fucking life. Some of y'all probably came into contact with somebody who more than likely went through the exact same shit that you went through. And you probably said, holy shit, this sounds really familiar. Yeah. I wonder why. So be proud of yourself, yo. Because like I said, that shit is not easy. And continue to do what you're doing, being a good person. At the same time, learn how to be a fucking warrior. Because now that you understood that everything that you have went through in life, like speaking of it, you establish some boundaries and everything. You know what I mean? You realize you just not only reminded yourself who you are, you're pretty much one of the reasons why the world is going to be changed. Anyways, yo, I took enough of y'all time out here, man. Y'all take care of yourself out here and keep your fucking head up, man. One love to you, cuz.